you going to connect? And there we go. Now we're ready to cook with some bacon grease. What up, nerds? Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. If you're new here, this is a channel where I come to talk once a week, usually about all the things that I'm reading, in hopes of helping you find your next read, or at the very least, what you should be throwing on your TBR. My name is Leslie Smith. For those of you who may not know me, happy to meet you. If this is your first time visiting, hop down to the comments, let me know that you're here. Would love to meet some new readers out there. I'm just going to dive right into it. I got something new in the mail. I am incredibly excited to own a copy of this. This is the newest release by Daniel Church. It's called The Sound of the Dark. This is Daniel's third novel, and this is my third one reading of his, and he is batting 3 for 3 for me. Now this one is, I would say, more of a psychological horror thriller. If you read his previous two novels, the one that I loved the most so far, and I think it might still be my favorite, The Hollows, that is a more of an isolation, like a trapped, almost locked room sort of novel. Absolutely loved it. But this, if you read The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, you're absolutely going to have a fantastic time with this one. I did have the extreme pleasure of reading The Ark, so I've already got a review out there on Goodreads. My friends over at Angry Robot Books sent me a finished copy in the mail. I am just incredibly excited to have it because or maybe you don't know if you're new here, I am a serial rereader. I will reread books like crazy. So this one, what I love about it the most is its dual timeline, and it takes something I love about the present as well as the horror of the past and meshes it into one story. So our main character is Callie Darker. She hosts a true crime podcast called You Like It Darker. A fan, reaches out to her and says, hey, I think there's this story you want to look into, investigate, and bring us an episode about that. The thing that her fans love about her podcast is Callie tries to be objective. She doesn't just cover stories and forget about the victims. She actually brings light to both sides of what happened in the case. And in this particular case, it's 1983. And an artist is working on a project, and it's a collage where he went to this abandoned, deserted, not in use Royal Air Force base called Wardenville, took pictures, and also just set up a recording to record the ambiance, the sounds of Wardenville. And the idea was, as you walked through his exhibit, you would see the pictures and you would hear the sounds from that room to kind of really immerse you into what this base looked like, felt like. And mysteriously, about a week or two after he did this, he begins to undergo a change. And I won't get into all of the specifics because you uncover it with Callie as she investigates, but it leads to him brutally killing his family and then himself and setting fire to everything. So it begins as this really great psychological thriller. I wouldn't call it a slow burn, but the dread, the fear just slowly builds up. And the one bit of criticism I would give about it is I really wish the mystery of what happened had been left a mystery. I think that would have amped up the fear factor, although I'm one of those people that I want to know the answers. So if Daniel had done that, I'd probably be over here complaining that I didn't get the answers. But that is The Sound of the Dark by Daniel Church. So that is a new book that's going into the Nerdy Narrative library. Now let's move into what I finished this week. So I finally finished volume 22 of One Piece. I've been rereading this manga. I need to get with my crew and see when we're going to have our next live show discussion of this one. Really excited as we're getting closer and closer to 2026 and season 2 of the live action, which consequently is probably going to cover this arc that I'm working on. My next completed read was Grand Conspiracy by Janie Wirtz. It's perfect. It is perfect, and I'm almost halfway done with this series. This is book 5 out of 11. I am in awe of this author. She takes this story and somehow it doesn't change. Like, we always stick to the same simple seeming plot, but it's so clever. There are so many subplots that feed into the main plot, and just how she manages to focus on different things and how it branches out. We even navigate a 15-year time jump, and it was just flawless. This book is flawless. This is my favorite fantasy series of all time. Like, it's just totally dethroned some long-time favorites. It's dethroned some new favorites from recent years. If you love epic fantasy, I really think you should give Janie Wertz a try. We're just blessed to have her still writing. So get in on it while you can. Janie Wertz, please do not ever put that pen down. Please, please, please keep sharing your stories with us. It's just, my gosh. And she is just a very interesting author. A lot of this story has taken place in and around the sea, and in the live show discussions that we've had with her and our group, she revealed that she actually went, like, I was like, okay, the way you write about horses, you've ridden, right? Of course she has. And then in the next book, when we started really getting into the sea and the sailing and things of that nature, another one of the crew said, how did you research this? You seem so knowledgeable. And she went and she actually crewed on ships. Like, she is an author who traveled. She did all of these things. She experienced all of these things that she's writing about. And the way that she's able to capture it on the page is just nothing short of pure brilliance. Y'all, please, if you don't read anything else and you're a fantasy fan, the Wars of Light and Shadow series, I'm just hands down. But if you want something a little quicker to consume, you don't like 11 book series, you like trilogies, if that's your thing, I have one for you. I also finished No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolin. If you are a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, I am very pleased to let you know that all of these books are on Kindle Unlimited. I had this one sent to me by the author a few years ago. Finally came to it on my TBR. I mean, I'm very regretful that I waited so long to read it, but also not, because now I have the trilogy and I can just keep going. I enjoyed this book so much. It's so easy. It has all of the things that I love. It's easy to read and follow along. It's written in a way that I can read it as fast as I want to because it's so good. You want to just fly through it. And this is one of those books, I don't know if you're like me, but I can't sit still for very long at a time, ever, for anything. But I can usually make it about an hour reading. This one, easily I can just sit and just read. I mean, it got so bad that I downloaded it on my Kindle and took it to Halloween Horror Nights so I could read as much as I could while standing in line to get in through the houses. That's how obsessed I was with the story. So what this one is about, it has two main characters, Kalo and Tayan. As it opens up, we just go right into the action. Tayan is running from soldiers that are trying to kill her for who she is. This is a story with the major theme is colonization and what that means. And it's so well represented on both sides because, I mean, we know history. We know that both sides has a story. Both sides has their truth as they see it. And I thought the author did a really great job of portraying that from both sides. We're not just seeing it from one person's side. In my opinion, we usually get the victim's side. We don't get the other people's sides. But he explores all of that. The beliefs, the magic, how that works, why these people are doing the things that are doing, what they believe about it, the religion. And y'all, the magic system is so interesting. The people that Kalo and Tan come from, they're spirit dancers. They dance with these great spirits, wind, river, earth, and they can do these amazing things with these abilities that they have been blessed with. And you may be thinking, how in the world were these people colonized by another group? Well, this other group, I would not call it blessed, but they discovered a way to steal the spirits from the spirit dancers. They capture them in these crystals and they're able to then wield that spirit against the people. And I mean, it's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. So Tayan is on the run. Kalo has been living in seclusion for a very long time. And when it first started out, I kind of told y'all I thought this was maybe a sort of passing of the torch narrative where Kalo's going to teach Tan how to take care of herself, how to fight, how to use her magic. And I thought this would be a passing of the torch, and then Tan would become our main character and Kalo would go on about his way. I am happy to report that is not the case. This, I think, is going to be a joint adventure. We're going to see the conclusion of Kalo's story and see the beginning of Tan's. I cannot wait to see how this next book is going to go. There was a bombshell dropped on me at the end of this one. I was going, wait a minute, what just happened? How in the world did this happen? And I gotta know how this is gonna turn out. Loved the characters. I loved the intrigue. I even enjoyed reading how this colonization was coming about and the war and, you know, rebellions and who rebelled and who didn't. I liked reading about that, even though I don't usually like to read about it. So when an author is able to do something I don't like in a way that I do like, that's always going to be a win in my book. I was so taken in by the magic and the characters that I almost missed the beautiful world building that was going on in the midst of all of this. So I am very excited to continue. The name of the series is called Malitu. Oh, there's so many things that I want to tell y'all, but it would be spoilers, and I'm not going to tell y'all. One of my favorite things about reading this one is... Okay, no, I'm not going to tell you. I want y'all to read that for yourself. But if you're looking for something that you can read in a couple, like, for instance, next weekend, you want to pick up a new book, something you're going to sit around the house, it's a rainy day, you're like, hey, I want to spend the day reading, and you want something that you're going to be able to complete in a weekend, get that one. Okay, next completed read. So this one was recommended to me by my hairstylist. She's a big reader. Every time I go get my hair done, which... I might look a little more blonder and hopefully my haircut looks a little bit better. But I went to see her this week. The last time I went, she asked me if I'd heard about the new one by Nicholas Sparks coming out called Remain. And he wrote it with M. Night Shyamalan. And the deal is, it comes out as a book first, which came out this past week. And then M. Night Shyamalan is going to make a movie for it next year. Y'all, if you are familiar with either of these two's works, you are easily going to tell who influenced which part. Now, obviously, it's a supernatural love story. Nicholas Sparks wrote the love story. He did the character work. And the scenes that M. Night Shyamalan influenced, I could picture them in my head. I just know this movie is going to be fantastic. I know that visually, those scenes of M. Night Shyamalan, I just know they're going to be fantastic. Cannot wait. The book was really good. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Although I would not call Nicholas Sparks a favorite author. He's not even an autobi author for me. I have not read anything of his since I read The Notebook 18,000 years ago, but I knew enough about him to know he's going to write a really great love story and he's going to break my heart in the process. And he did. He absolutely did. That's just what he does. But it was so good. It just worked out in the best way possible. It's kind of a... No, I'm not going to tell you. It's a supernatural love story, and that's all you need to know. So another great, fun, easy one to binge. And I listened to this one on audiobook. Let me see. Who did I look up? I did not look up the narrator. It had two. There was a male narrator for our main character, Tate Donovan, and Julia Whalen was the female narrator for our female main character. I will never, ever forget her. Her voice is so recognizable to me. She's one of my top favorite female narrators. Actually, the only female narrator that is above her is January LaVoy. Like, you cannot. No one is ever going to touch the S-tier narration of January LaVoy. If you know, you know. So those are the 3 books that I finished this week. I have a couple of DNFs, and I am so sad about them. So the first one is, y'all are going to be so shocked, Project Hanneman by Stuart Hotston. This is a new to me author. This is an arc that Angry Robot Books sent to me to try out. I was so excited because it's science fiction. Hadn't read any science fiction in a while. It's a blend of Indian mythology and a space opera. I was so excited I DNF'd it, and here's why. I like the premise. Where this begins, there is a world, a physical world, but the beings that inhabit the world are wearing printed bodies. They are digital. Everything is artificial intelligence, and this main character is in a printed body, and the family is still digital, and they're constantly wanting her to ditch the body, go back digital. And she's just come off a phone call with them. She's upset because it's always this back and forth about it. And suddenly, the connection with the AI is gone. Everything just crashes. And so her and a couple of other characters are trying to work together to figure out what's going on. And the problem is, and it's not even a problem, I mean, y'all might love this book. So the characters are stilted, but it's, I think, written that way on purpose, and it probably should be. They're not people, so they're odd because it's AI and they act like it. But I just couldn't connect to them, and the way that it's written was my biggest thing. It's very hard for me to get into books that are big into telling you everything instead of showing you. And there was a lot of info dumping. I just do not do well with that. I wasn't enjoying it. I was like, okay, this one just isn't for me, but it might be for you. So please don't take my word for it. Go check it out and see if maybe it might be one that would work for you. My other DNF, and y'all, I think I'm about to shock some folks. I DNF'd Slewfoot by Brom. I finally it couldn't. We kept going in circles. I was so curious. I didn't really love it to begin with. There was no horror to it, in my opinion, but I was curious about this character of Slewfoot. I liked the journey of him also trying to figure out just who he was. Who was he? As well as Abigail, our other main character. Abby wanted to know who she was on her own, who she could be. And she was determined to scratch out a living for herself and be free, which coincidentally, I also think that might be what Slewfoot wanted. But we just kept getting close to finding out, and something would happen and we would spin off on another loop, and I got tired of it. I was not engaged. I got super bored. I wasn't wanting to pick it back up. And right when I thought I was finally about to get answers, here we go again around another loop. And I was like, you know what? I'm not having fun. I'm just going to send it on back to the library. The next person in line have it and be done. So I did. Now, what I did after that. So I was so excited to read science fiction, space opera, and it didn't pan out, that I said, you know what, I'm going to scratch that itch. So I picked up Blood Reunion by J.C.M. Byrne. This is book 3 of the Hybrid Helix. If you like superheroes, especially superheroes in space, if you like comic books, the way this is written, it's not that it's written, maybe that's a bad way to describe it. It's very visual. It's very, I don't even know. How would you describe like a superhero comic? It's just good. It's good. And you know it's going to be good when you pick it up. Like, I love this series. I reread book 1 a couple of times. And I just was like, you know what? I've been trying to get to this 3rd book for forever. This was the perfect time. And it was the right time because I have loved it. Absolutely loved it. It just starts out the gate. Page 1, I was like, why did I wait so long? It's off to a fantastic start. It's got 2 things I love. Space. I love that our ships and our space station, they're sentient. I don't know, inanimate objects that are sentient, I've just always been a big fan of. And I just absolutely adore the fact that we have vampires in space, loose on this space station, where Rohan, our main character here, works. So I am excited, and the part that I just read earlier today, I have finally met someone I have been dying to meet since book 1, and oh, this is going to be so good. Episodic. That's what I was going to say. Comic books, they're episodic. That's how these feel, but they're just so good. They're so good. It's just easy to read. It's a good time. And J.C.M. Byrne can write characters. The humor, love it. So glad to be back into that world. I also picked up, I don't even know how this book got on my TBR exactly. At some point in the past few weeks, I put a hold on it at my library on the audiobook, Famous by Blake Crouch. It's an older novel, 2010 I believe is when it was published. You know, maybe I saw that there was A24 picked this up for a movie option. I think it's coming out next year, and Zac Efron is going to play the main character. Now, I'm not a big fan of Zac Efron, but I do like how Blake Crouch's books have been adapted to film for the most part, not counting Wayward Pines. The first season of that show was fantastic. They ruined it in the second season. So I am curious to see how A24 is going to spin the story. I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be a 3-star read for me. I should finish it this evening. I was almost done when I sat down to film, and it finally got it good. But I think I only have like half an hour left to listen to it, and when you gotta wait that long. But it was kind of funny. It had these moments, and I really couldn't tell. I was like, is this going to just be this character doing this weekend thing, like, or is it gonna get dark? You know, with Blake Crouch, you can never tell exactly how it's gonna go. I call him a romance writer. For the most part, what I've read by him have felt like love stories. This one is a love story with himself. Our main character, Lancelot Blue Dunquist, has a remarking resemblance to a famous movie star named James Jansen. And he has saved up for 5 years to become this movie star. He went to New York, where James Jansen was, went to school there, and he's like palling around, and he's passing himself off as this actor. He's just living it up. He's always been a nobody. Now here he is. He's going to plays. He's meeting people. He's being invited to do all of these things that movie stars are able to do, not people like you and me. And it's not fantastic. It's a little interesting. It's a little funny. But again, I really wanted to know how it was going to end. And I got that answer earlier today, and I wasn't expecting it. I was just bouncing back and forth between going, is he just going to spend a week being this movie star and then he's going to go back to life as usual? Or is he just going to keep up the ruse until he's found out, which could be really funny? Or could it be something darker? Like, there's some really good nuggets of just bear down life's lessons. And he's talking about, at one point, he's observing some college students at a diner, and he's like, you know, these kids, they really think they're happy, and they're not. He's like, you can look at them and tell. And he just goes on this diatribe that really turns into this like soul-bearing moment, and you're going, holy shit. And then he goes, dang, I've talked myself out of being happy. And you're like, yeah, me too. So I don't hate that I read it. I am going to watch the movie because I think A24 is going to do something amazing with it, especially now that I know sort of how it's going to end. I don't know the finale yet, but I don't hate that I read it. Definitely not on my favorite of Blake Crouch's stuff. In fact, I wouldn't recommend it. If somebody was looking for something from him, I would go with one of his other books for sure. So that brings us to the final part of this video, where I'll talk about what am I going to read next. Well, I'm going to be reading One Piece Volume 23, and then I will be pausing here because it's the end of an arc, and my crew, we're going to get together and talk about, whoops, I just totally dropped my bookmark out of here, retro raggy. We'll find it later. So we need to get this one done so we can have our next discussion. I want to be ready for that whenever that happens. And I'm not going to get crazy with the TBR because it always depends on when a hold comes up in my library. I don't even know how many holds I've got in my library right now. It's a ton. So I don't want to get too crazy, but I do know what my next read's going to be. King Sorrow by Joe Hill came out. I put a hold on the audiobook and the Kindle version. Got both of those, so I'm going to be blasting through that one. And I really hope that I'm able to knock it out this week, because Chris and I are about to be heading to Virginia Beach for a week. We've got a wedding that we're going to, so you probably won't hear from me for a week or so, going there and getting back. And who knows, it's going to be crazy for the rest of the year. We get back from Virginia Beach, we'll be here maybe a week or two, and then we're going to be heading to Mississippi for the rest of the year with a little side trip over to Dallas. So gosh, y'all might only get one more video out of me for this year until I get back. And well, I don't even know what's going to happen then, because we just found out that we're going to be coming back at the end of December, 1st of January, only to turn around and move. Still in the Orlando area, but we're just getting out of this location. So I will keep you guys updated. I'll do the best I can. It may, look a little different back behind me as I start packing up to move and all of that fun stuff, but we'll see. I gotta come out here and talk to y'all about all the stuff I'm reading. So that's gonna wrap up things for me this week. Thank you all so much for being here, for being a part of what I'm doing here on the channel. I really hope that something I talked about here strikes your fancy, one that you're going to look forward to picking up, and you can always come back and hit me up in those comments below and let me know what you think. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and I will see you in the next one.